Elena Morrow. Is that the way to pronounce it, Elena?
That's fine. It's actually Elena, but I like Elena a lot, actually.
Okay, Ellen, I'm sorry I didn't check that out ahead of time. She is a professional composer for film and TV based in Los Angeles. She is also trained and a registered practitioner for Bach flower remedies. Elena is committed to empowering individuals to manage anxiety and enhance their mental well-being by using the gentle and effective methods of these flower remedies. Congratulations, first of all, for publishing of your article titled Five Effective Strategies for Mental Well-Being in Authority Magazine. In the art, excuse me, in the article, you mentioned going through a time of great despair when you thought you had lost your purpose. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that with us?
Of course, absolutely, my pleasure. Yes, I was in my 20s. I had been training professionally as a ballet dancer my whole life, and uh, that was what I was supposed to do in my life. And I had a serious injury. I didn't recover fully from it, and it was really stressful, not only disappointing, but scary. I felt completely lost. Because when we grow up, we identify ourselves with what we're going to be as an adult. And
Yeah.
that was it for me. So it was a really, really interesting time. Let's put it this way. And I was seeing a homeopathic doctor for other reasons because I always wanted and searched for, natural remedies.
Hmm.
No pollution, no side effects. That was my idea. And so she introduced me to Dr. Bach flower remedies, and they worked so well. I was surprised by how powerful they they were in lifting that emotional burden from inside of me and dissolving it, and let me just think and realize, wait a moment, I have my whole life ahead of me. I I can find new purpose, and of course I was already studying music because that was my other passion, and I went for it, but still I had this trauma and suffering I was carrying with me, and these emotional burdens were holding me back.
Yes.
And so that's how I fell in love with these remedies, and I kept on using them my whole life, and still am.
Oh, so the injury robbed you of what you planned on for your life, and it was such a wound in you that you had trouble healing the wound of your disappointment. And I'm so glad that you looked for alternative methods of healing and found, I call it Bach, you're calling it Bach. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
the actual pronunciation is Bach. Yeah.
My pronunciation needs to be updated.
Mm.
You mentioned important step in dealing with anxiety is to identify where it originates. How do you do that?
Yeah, that's mainly one job one can do for themselves, but it's specifically the work of the Bach Foundation registered practitioner. Because, um, Bach flower remedies work in a special way, in the sense that they're selected based not what's the outcome, in this case anxiety, but how's the individual person is feeling at the moment experiencing anxiety and where this anxiety comes from. Let me explain with an example.
Please.
Anxiety is a secondary emotion, and it can originate from many, many other things. Like I can be anxious because I'm insecure and I have, I don't know, a series of lectures and I'm afraid of talking, speaking in public. So that's a kind of anxiety. Or I have been hurt so many times in relationships that I had so anxious and I stopped dating. Or even if I'm still doing it, I'm completely overwhelmed with stress and fears and anxiety. So that's another kind of anxiety. In the first case, anxiety may come for insecurity or shyness or something else. In the second time, it comes from the past, from bad experiences, shocks. So these are two totally different kind of anxiety. And for the Dr. Bach system, they are treated completely different because the practitioner will listen to your story. So tell me how I can help you. What's your story? Tell
Yes.
me more about your anxiety. When do you experience it? When does it happen? Do you remember the first time you started feeling this way? And when you feel anxious, what do you feel? So it's an hour conversation, very, very secure. That's why I wanted to train and become you know, and register with the Batch Center because I wanted to offer my clients a safe, competent, secure environment. So
Yeah.
for me, it's a sacred space, no judgmental space where a client can come in and tell me their story. After I hear their story, we can talk about the emotions related to this story. So I was anxious because I was afraid, because I had doubts, because I didn't trust my judgment, because I didn't trust my ability. It can be many, many times, but many things, but every single thing is different because each one of us is a different, unique person. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about Dr. Bach because he wanted a simple, natural, harmless but powerful remedy, a system of remedies that was individual, based on the personality, individuality of each patient.
So these remedies go to the source of the anxiety. They don't just treat the surface anxiety. Is that
No,
right?
they don't exactly because anxiety is an effect, and as Dr. Bach said, treat the cause, not the effect. The actual cause of the anxiety, if we think about it, it's not the event, it's our reaction to
Yes.
the event because of experiences of, again, it can be many, many different things,
Right.
you know. So, and by going to the root of our anxiety, why we feel anxious, where's the trigger, the emotional trigger behind it, we can solve the problem at its root, you
Okay.
know? So it's not only something treating yourself for a moment, it's a solution to your problem, you know.
You stated very strongly in your article that anxiety doesn't arise from external circumstances, many of which we can't control. So, what do your clients have control over?
The other thing I really love about this system is that they are really in control of all their own personal emotional healing journey with the Bach flower remedies because um, Bach flower remedies don't offer a quick solution, and that's why they are really special because it's a journey. It's a
Oh,
journey of deciding you want to take care of yourself and you want to actually know yourself. One
Mm-hmm.
time, I can tell you how many time clients feel so nervous, not because of me, but because they find it hard to express how they feel. And
Yeah.
that's why you you refer to a practitioner, because we are here to listen
Mm-hmm.
and to help you understand your emotion, to help your self awareness. And once the client becomes aware, the practitioner suggests remedies. When I suggest a remedy, I usually say, well, you told me that, so you feel this way. For this kind of situation and for you in how you're feeling at this moment, there is these remedies. Let's imagine you're shy and you're afraid to talk in public.
Mm-hmm.
I can I can say, you told me you have a series of lectures and this makes you really anxious because you don't like being exposed in public, you don't feel confident in talking, you're really in at parties, you're usually quite the shy person, stepping aside. And so, for this kind of fear, we have Mimulus. And so I start describing the remedy. And after I describe the remedy, I ask the client, do you find yourself in this remedy description? And and then it's on the client. It's the client's responsibility, but also power to decide, yes, I think I need this. I
Yeah.
want to try what this remedy can do for me. Let's do that. you
Yeah.
know
So they're
so
in
I
control of that choice.
Yes, it's always the client's choice, and our role as practitioner is kind of educational and support, you know
Yes.
because the final goal for meeting with a Bach Flower Remedies practitioner is to be able to use at one point the remedies on
Yeah.
your own as a self-help.
I love the sentence stems that you use to flesh out the feelings behind the anxiety. It looks like these prompts invite your client to feel all the feelings. Can you give us a few examples? What are a few examples of the sentence stems that you use to help clients express their feelings?
Yeah, it's just, the first thing is to make them comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
because, we're human and it's not easy to talk about what's going on in our life and to be authentic and not feeling judged. So that's the important first step. And the second step is listening to their story. While I listen to a client, I usually already have some, tips like recurring themes. Like if a client keeps telling me about, I don't know, I had a client who kept telling me about her daughter moving out, moving away and flying the nest. And of course, that was the core of the story. Once I identify the core of the story, I ask questions. So, but in a very non-doctorial and very friendly, informal way, we go through the emotions. So I usually say things like, "So you tell me, I hear your your daughter is moving out." "Oh yes," and usually that keep, gives the client the opportunity to expand.
Yes.
And the key question at one point is, "So how this make you feel? How
Mm-hmm.
does this make you feel?" And at that point, I can tell you 99.9% of clients, since they already had gone through verbalizing their own story, they know how they feel.
Yes.
And it can be, "I feel angry because she won't be there for me," you know?
Yeah.
Or, "I feel so worried because what if?" These are already two different remedies I can suggest. but they are all it is the choice is always a suggestion, and it's always based on what the client tell me and how they feel the moment we're talking, and how they describe their feeling.
So, what are a few of your personal daily practices that keep your anxiety levels low?
Yeah, that's I have a kind of a very specific daily routine, because modern life is very chaotic, and technology is what it is, which is great to have, but it's wise to be used. um, and especially working in the entertainment industry, sometimes you are bombarded with information right at the beginning of the day. So I'd rather, luckily enough, an early bird, so I'd rather wake up an hour early so I can prepare for the day by, medicating, grounding, and then I do some mindfulness and some self-analysis. Because as I wrote in my article, some days your mind it's blank canvas. On some other days you wake up and you have a worry or a thought, or you find out you're still lingering over something not as good as expected that happened the day before. And so I do this to be able to, you know um, find out immediately about any emotional imbalance so that
Okay.
I can take care of it.
Okay.
Because if I have a worry, I can stop thinking about, I have a remedy I can go to. And I pour myself a glass of water with just 2 drops of that remedies, and I have my glass of water for the morning. And as soon as I start sipping from that glass, the negative emotion dissipates. It's important not to let our negative emotions build up
Yeah.
and create wounds inside of us,
Yes.
because then it takes a long time to free yourself from
Yes.
those emotional burdens. And also science is already proving, and Dr. Bach already understood that by intuition, that negative emotions have awful consequences, not only on our personal and professional life, but also on our health, and
Yes.
not only mental but also physical health.
Yes.
So so it's important. As I said, I'm a practitioner, but I have my set of remedies for my own self-care always at hand, because we are humans and emotions fluctuate, you know.
So you stop the negative cycle of emotion right at the beginning. You don't let it keep going and building.
Exactly. Exactly.
I understand that you can work with your clients online. How can our viewers contact you?
Oh, they can contact me on my website, which is feelhealthrive.com, and they can read about me, my story. There are some information about Bach flower remedies. There's my blog, which I wrote. You know, I keep updated, and there's a form they can book directly a consultation on my website, and I offer a complimentary 30 minutes introductory uh,
Okay.
Zoom meeting to better understand about Bach flower remedies, and what they can do for you.
Well,
Because they are wonderful, but as I always recommend, they are complementary
uh,
therapy. They don't substitute, medical treatments and so on.
sure. So I'm visiting with Elena Maro, Maro, and her website is feel-heal-thrive.com. You can book a complimentary appointment with her to learn what Bach Flower Remedies can do to assist you in reducing your anxiety level. I want to thank you so much, Elena, for meeting with me today and for this valuable information. I've known about Bach flower remedies for many years, but I haven't taken advantage of them myself, and it sounds like something I could use. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for having me. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Have a wonderful day.
And I hope you do as well. Bye bye.